Hello YouTube. We're on, I think, day 23 with the 27-gallon cube. Just want to post an update. Made some changes to the setup today, so you may notice there's no longer a protein skimmer or the little mini Refugium thing hanging on the back of my tank, as well as the heater. Decided I wanted to get as much stuff as I could out of the main tank, so ended up setting up a Refugium slash micro sump. It's not really a sump, but it's got some additional filtration in there, so I'll show you that in just a second here. But so I've still got the pump. That's the same pump that I was using with the protein skimmer. Now it's just got a longer tube that's leading down to the protein skimmer down in the bottom cabinet, and then this is my return line with the ball valve over here. So there's no overflow box right now, so if the power goes out, I'm kind of screwed. So I'm going back and forth on how I want to set it up, whether I want to use an overflow, or since the volume of water I'm dealing with is pretty low, if I just want to put the Refugium that's down below in a like a deep tub inside the cabinet, just in case there's a power outage. It's been years since we've had one, so I'm not too worried about it, but you never know, so yeah, we'll see. I'll probably do just the tub initially, because it'll be pretty cheap, and then worst case scenario, well, you know, there's a small flood. Even if the power does go out, though, because of how high I have the pump placed, it's not going to be able to siphon water indefinitely, so might get a little bit of water on the inside of the cabinet, which could potentially, oh, just tripped over a pedal there. So anyways, I could get a small flood, but there's no way the entire tank would be able to flood. So anyways, so both of these are leading back down to, I guess, what would be the sump area down here. I was going back and forth on what I wanted to use for the Refugium. I ended up picking up the Aqueon Evolve 8. So one, it's pretty small and fits pretty perfectly in the small little space here. But it's also got some additional filtration. It came with a little light, little LED light that I can use for the Kato down there. Plus it was pretty cheap, so I bought this for like $60 at PetSmart. So yeah, ended up being a pretty good deal. I did pick up an additional pump for the return pump, the one that came with it. Originally, I was hoping I'd be able to use the pump that came with it as a return pump, but it's pretty weak, so it just wasn't able to keep pace with the protein skimmer. Oops, hanging on the side there. So I ended up picking up the cheapest variable speed pump that I could, which also happens to be an Aqueon AQ1700 there. It's turned all the way down, and then again I've got the ball valve up at the top to control the flow. But I've got, so I'm going to move that to the side there. So tube comes down, tube comes down from the tank, feeds the protein skimmer there. This back. Feeds the protein skimmer there. Protein skimmer is feeding right in front of the overflow for the filter pad, the carbon filter pad, which then overflows back there into a little area where I stuck the heater. There's another pump further down there. Probably not going to be able to see it, but it ends up letting out right there, that nozzle. And then the return pump's right there, goes back up to the display tank. So as you can see, I added some live sand, live rock, well, dead rock, soon to be live rock. Move the Kato down there. Hopefully that'll give me a little bit more biological filtration. It's pretty cloudy right now because I've been working on it all day. Stirred up a whole bunch of stuff, and then actually when I first turned the return pump, when I first turned both the pumps back on, the return hose was skimming the surface of the display tank, so got just a crazy amount of these micro bubbles in here, so hopefully that'll clear up really quickly. Again, it's not a true sump, so there's no, you don't have the baffles or anything like that to get rid of those micro bubbles, so I've just kind of got to live with them for the time being. I may try putting like a sponge or something down in the Refugium with the where the protein skimmer's feeding, to see if I can maybe get rid of those. I'll give it a day or two though to see if it clears up on its own. But yeah, you may also notice I got rid of the moonlights. Once I get rid of the Kato, not really any need for them. So I've got timers set up right now for this one to run 9 hours every day. The Refugium light right now is not on a timer. You'll notice that they're both on right now. The Refugium light is not on a timer. Part of the reason why I wanted to set up the separate Refugium is I was seeing some pretty big pH swings throughout the day. So bigger than I was expecting for the small amount of Kato that's in there, but I guess it's a small volume of water too, so kind of makes sense, I guess. But I'm hoping that having the Kato separate will allow me to have a little bit more stable pH. But with the pH pretty low, I'm going to leave the Refugium light on constantly until I can get it back up again and stable, and then I'll put the Refugium light back on the timer so that Refugium light's on at night, or when this one's not on, and then that one will switch off when this one turns on. So yeah, I haven't added anything else, any other livestock to the tank yet. I really just wanted to give an update because of the addition of the Refugium, but I've got to say I'm really liking it so far. It took a while to kind of dial in the right balance of flows between the two pumps. So the pump going down to the protein skimmer, going down to the Refugium, isn't variable speed, and I mean, even if it was, I wouldn't want to slow down the flow of the Refugium or the protein skimmer at all. Plus, it's hooked up straight to the protein skimmer, so I'd have to put a ball valve or something in the middle of the line, which I didn't really want to deal with. So basically, I got a more powerful pump than I needed for the return pump, and then used the ball valve to dial that in. So it took a little while, but it's been, the water levels in both tanks have been stable all day now. So I think I've got it pretty good. I'll keep an eye on it, but I think we're at a point where the balance of the flow is good enough to where one of them's not going to flood. So, yeah, so that's pretty much all I got for now. Once this clears up and I can get my my pH to stabilize a little bit, I'll start adding some more stuff in there. I'm getting more, here they can't see it right now, but more brown diatom blooms on the sand. Nothing really on the rock. Little bit on the glass. I'm gonna clean that off in a little bit, but really mainly on the sand. So my nitrates are still a little bit high. So I'm gonna continue weekly water changes until that gets down closer to 0. So yeah, but that's pretty much it for today. So I'll have another video once we've got some more updates. Thanks for watching.